Welcome to the third round of Startups Discipleship. In the first track of our practical branch, we covered some of the basics like creating a mission statement, defining the values and vision and culture that we're after. And in the last round, we looked at some of the soft skills that are applicable in every area of life and work. Things like time management, critical thinking, problem-solving skills, effective listening, and how to give and receive feedback. This round, we're going to take a look at what we call hard skills. Where soft skills are more abstract concepts, hard skills are teachable abilities like reading or typing or the ability to use particular software programs. We're still going to keep things generic when we look over these hard skills so that they're applicable across a variety of ministries and business ideas. But the goal by the end of the 6 weeks is to have a business model and a plan of execution to get your startup launched. So today we're going to start off with project management. In our case, we're going to use our startup ideas as our project, but you can take this process and apply it to any event, any job, any proposal, any program, any project that comes your way long after your startup is launched. So let's get started. Project management focuses on planning and organizing a project and its resources into a clear and concise plan. The hope is that if done properly, the vision, objectives, and tasks can be aligned towards a single purpose that can be understood and adhered to by all that are involved. I personally take a 6-step approach to project management. Again, there are tons of resources out there on the internet, in books, TED Talks, podcasts, etc., with different steps and approaches towards project management. And over the years, I've just taken a bunch of these ideas and tried to form them into something that makes sense to me and something that I can take ownership of. So feel free to do the same with the information I'm giving you. There is not a singular approach that guarantees success. You really need to discover what works for you, what makes sense to you, what actually gets you moving forward towards the goals that you're going to set forth. So with that said, here are my 6 steps that I found that work for me. Step 1 is to define the objectives. The major pieces, the minor pieces, and particularly that one big idea. Step 2 is to do research. This may include what's the scope of the project, how much time and money are required, and what are the risks inherent in this idea. Next up, you gather. This could include team members, materials, requirements, and even funding if needed. After that, we move into the planning phase. This is where you start to really nail down budgets and schedules and roles and responsibilities. In step 5, we communicate that plan to the team, to the leaders, any investors, and anyone involved in the project. And then lastly, step 6, execute. Get the plan moving forward. Over the next few weeks, we're going to be covering each of those steps in detail. But this week, we're going to just focus on step 1, which again is to define. Defining your objectives starts with dreaming. Spend a few minutes, maybe even a few days, letting your imagination run. Praying through all the possibilities and all the impossibilities. Always believing that God wants to do exceedingly and abundantly more than you could ever ask or even imagine. And then take those dreams and ideas and jot them down. Brainstorm them, mind map them, journal them, sketch them. However you capture information down is fine. Just make sure you put those dreams and ideas on paper. I cannot stress enough how important it is to make sure that you write things down or sketch things out. There is simply something to putting pen or pencil to paper that helps us really process through information. Then I want you to take all of those ideas and those dreams and I want you to boil it down into one big idea. I'm going to say that again, one big idea. Ask yourself questions like, what am I after? What's my main objective? How do I define that? How can I keep it clear? How can I keep it concise? How can I keep it simple? One of the issues that I see often is when we come to one big idea, people will write it down and it'll take page upon page upon page or paragraph upon paragraph upon paragraph to describe what that one big idea is. And what I want you guys to do is to take all of the dreams and ideas and boil it down to a simple, single sentence that is memorable. For a youth ministry, the one big idea might be to reach a generation in ways that connect with teenagers. You know, if the If the goal is to set up a restaurant, the one big idea might be to provide tasty, healthy food with excellent service. They're simple, memorable, one big ideas. And so, the first question that you're going to answer this week is, what is your one big idea? Next up, once you have that, is to define the major pieces. For those of you who've participated in strategic plannings with me, you'll know this well. Ask the question, to accomplish this one big idea, what are the major pieces I need? Is it staff? Are volunteers needed? How about funding? A location? Inventory? It really will depend on what type of ministry and business you're looking to build, but take time to think through and to pray through what major pieces are needed to accomplish your one big idea, and again, write them down. Then we're going to further break down each major piece into what we call minor pieces. If staffing is a major piece, then what does it look like ideally? Would you have managers, directors, service people? If you need a location, what would that look like? You may need to scout locations. You might need a realtor or a broker. You may need a down payment. These are all minor pieces that make up the breakdown of each major piece. Again, do this for every major piece. Dreaming and discovering these objectives, major pieces and minor pieces, are going to help us bring definition to your project and are the first step towards putting together a plan that's clear and comprehensive. So this week, I want you to fill out the attached questionnaire, and I want you to talk it out with each other. If you have questions, leave them in the comment section here. Text each other, email each other, do whatever it takes so that we can all process through this together. And then at our next meeting, we're going to talk over these ideas that you've come to. In the coming weeks, we're going to talk about how we research, how we gather requirements, how we plan, how we communicate this to our team members, and how we execute on our vision. But this week, the real focus is to define these objectives, these major pieces, and these minor pieces. I do hope that you find this helpful in terms of bringing clarity to things that you've been dreaming up, and I can't wait to see what everybody comes up with.